Hi everyone, Kartik Krishnaiyer for Beyond the 90. We're continuing with our promotion and relegation series. I want to get into the financial piece. I know some people have pushed back on the finances, right? The player development thing is fairly obvious. There are very, very few people who disagree. I mean, in fact, there are people who oppose promotion and relegation who tell me, you know what, we know it will improve player development, but we also think you're going to be putting clubs out of business in the process, and you're going to have, the whole thing is going to become a Darwinism in to a certain extent. And I have to respect those arguments. And I will address those arguments in the next video. And that was supposed to be today's video, but today's video is actually going to be about the player development piece and what we're already seeing in USL since USL's Pro REL announcement, which was last month. And so what we're seeing in the USL is more and more youth clubs, established youth clubs with strong academy structures, boys and girls side, both sides, with built out structures from U8, U10, maybe U6 in some cases, generally not, upward to the U18 or U20 level. We're seeing those youth clubs that are independent, freestanding youth clubs talk more and more to establish USL professional clubs. We've seen some link-ups. We saw a link-up in Jacksonville. We saw a link-up in Tulsa. We saw a link-up in Louisville. We saw a link-up in Lexington. We saw a link-up in Loudoun. There were some other circumstances there. But what I am hearing, talking to my sources in the youth soccer space, is that there's a lot of excitement. Now, if your clubs are in MLS Next, or you're tied somehow to the MLS ecosystem, which is sort of a loose term, right? Because you have youth clubs that will have an MLS Next, U16 boys team, U15 boys team, maybe an ECNL girls U15 girls team. Same youth club, same technical director, sometimes sharing the same coaches, depending on the club. So, but what I'm hearing is that there is a lot of effort among independent youth clubs who are not, let's say, tied to professional MLS clubs, or are not these sort of handpicked. They were in the USSF Development Academy from the time that was launched in 2007, 2008 time period, and then got into MLS Next immediately, even though they weren't connected to an MLS club. Outside of those sorts of youth clubs, you're seeing a lot of conversations start, or I'm hearing about a lot of conversations starting between them and USL professional clubs, whether it's a League One club or a championship club, mostly championship clubs, but also League One clubs that are down the road. And of course, Orange County is another one with Strikers FC, which is one of the best youth clubs in the country. This is happening because of the Pro REL discussion. So we've talked about how promotion and relegation incentivizes and improves player development. We've gone through the whole gamut of reasons why. There are multiple reasons why. It seems like 90% of people agree on this. Whereas on the financial piece, maybe it's half and half. So we have to have that discussion. We are going to have that discussion, I promise, later in the week or next week. But here, what we're seeing, something I didn't realize was going to happen so quickly, is that the independent youth clubs that want to be part of that incentive structure and realize they can do really well for their academy kids and their academy coaches and the parents, and then also maybe can attract better coaches who can teach better tactical awareness and technical skill to those players, that once you have a pyramid, a Pro REL pyramid, and money is trickling down that pyramid, you are in a position where you can make that work as a club. A true pathway to pro from U8 onward up. You need to do it on the women's side too. But because of the increased investment, the increased incentives, and just the uptick in quality in terms of tactical coaching, competitiveness that comes from Pro REL, again, widely agreed upon. 90% of people I speak to agree on it. They don't agree necessarily on promotion and relegation in general, They think that maybe there are other issues with it. But in terms of the player development piece, there's a wide consensus. This is a part I did not anticipate, that this would begin to coalesce so quickly. But that means we're creating a more unified ecosystem, potentially. USL, I should say, is creating a more unified ecosystem. And hats off to them, or hats off to their individual clubs. This is all going really well so far. Now, can USL get the economic piece and up and down piece right at the professional level? And that's to be determined. But at the youth level, it looks like we're already seeing results, which means we might have our first intake of players that become more competitive elite youth players because of these changes, these synergies that are being created in 6 to 8 years, which is really exciting. Maybe it's 10 years, but 6 to 8, we'll see the first ones. We'll see the real results 10 to 12 years. That's really exciting.